Hey people, it's the 27th of July, and I'll hang with you for a few minutes here this morning. Just getting the day started. What's going on with me today, although this video will be up for a while. Getting ready to go to a rehearsal. I'll be performing as part of the Under the Radar Avant-Garde Music Festival. I think this is the 5th year in Omaha. Lots of international people are here now. I'll be participating in a George Lewis piece. George Lewis, the jazz trombonist, composer. We did our first rehearsal yesterday. There's no notated music involved. There are instructions to set up group improvisations within groups. Looking forward to the performance and today's rehearsal. We have one more rehearsal today. It's interesting. I love doing stuff like this. I also want to mention that it's been a while since I've said anything of a social nature, and I do want to just let people who are new to my channel know that I speak my mind as I feel here, and I will speak about things politically as I feel. I know that thanks to mainly the mainstream media and the desires of a very small amount of people, the media is very much involved in dividing people and making people think that we're enemies. And I just know that's not the truth. And just every now and then I just have to speak out about the madness of the way that the Western world is going. I haven't shown all the records I've traded, but what's been spinning on, let me just show you these records. Let me just show some records before I go. Someone in Facebook, because I do still enjoy Facebook, even though it is really obvious that it is a CIA NSA setup. I find it interesting that when I put in a title or a name that is not in the dictionary, you know, when you go to add to the dictionary, it will give you suggestions. So often those suggestions are all political and military. Shit like Guantanamo and these buzzwords, you know, it's real obvious to me, folks, okay? I'm not asleep. Pyrolator, he was in the German band Der Plan. For a while they were called the German Residents. I don't think that quite fits, but they were doing some interesting things in the 90s. And this is his album Wonderland. I don't play this often because it has a real plastic toy kind of sound. It takes a while before it settles into actually being music as opposed to just creating this landscape. The cover does describe the sound of the music well. It's very cartoonish, but it's cool, and I'm glad I kept it. Played this all the way through twice in the last day because I've had a chance to. Deerhoof, Green Cosmos. Seen Deerhoof 2 or 3 times now. I've met them. Talked to the drummer Greg Saunier a few times. The guy is an amazing drummer, very interesting person, very intelligent, very outside the mainstream. Those are my kind of people. People who are awake and didn't drink the Kool-Aid and know that literally everything that we're told in the media about history, about what's going on, is a lie. Deerhoof, fantastic band. Music that shows it's awake. I forget when he sent this to me, but Scott Guerin of the Deadbeats a while back sent me this album to review. And I recently took this over to the art gallery, to Hugo's art gallery, mainly because I know that Dereck, the guy who painted the cover for my latest CD, I was thinking he would like the humor of this. This is very... there's a lot of sexual humor in here. Real, very real, you know. The Deadbeats, 666-1313 is the name of the album. Scott, if you happen to see this, this is really good and crazy. The musicianship on here is fantastic. Scott had let me know that Rick Agnew of the Rattlescents and DI has been involved with the Deadbeats. I don't know that Rick is on this album. The cover's written, see the lenticular? The devil and then 666 and then the number. I don't even care about all that stuff. You know, the planet is just being run by evil, so whatever the real deal is regarding Satanism, I don't know what it is. But this is a cool record, and it's crazy. And musically, it's really solid. Scott Guerin, if you happen to see this, thanks again for sending this to me. I don't know how long it was ago you sent it to me. But the Deadbeats, back in the day when punk was exploding out of the 70s, the Deadbeats have made a 45 that I unfortunately sold, but it's a classic. It's called Kill the Hippies. Look it up. Kill the Hippies by the Deadbeats. Homeboys to Faint. I was playing this the other night at the Wet from Birth at the gallery. I work at the gallery. We have a show tonight, an exhibit tonight. And so we'll be doing PR work, etc. stuff, getting the gallery ready. And Dereck, Shockey, and I bring music to share. And the team was bopping to this, The Faint. This is not necessarily their best album, but The Faint do electro so well that there was a time when bands around the world were trying to cop their sound. And these guys are my friends, The Faint, Wet from Birth. Here's another blast from the past that this is my favorite album. I'm not saying it's their best. It's my favorite Ramones album. Rocket to Russia. Cretin Hop, the way this album starts. Rockaway Beach. Sheena is a punk rocker. This is like, should be in the library of, this is an album that ought to be in the Smithsonian or something. Ramones. I met all of them except for Tommy. I met them, I hung out with them twice, seen them at least 4 times. The 4th time I saw them, Johnny spotted me in the audience and nodded and gave me a head nod. That meant a lot to me because Johnny was known as a Republican redneck racist. But the thing that I've always found out about racists, people who think they're racist, is all they have to do is have a few moments with another genuine human being who doesn't, who ignores their mental bullshit. It only takes a while for them to realize, hey, we're both human. The only problem is some kind of really strange thoughts that you've been fed. I found this to be consistent in my life. You know, I've been in several situations where I was the only black person here in the Midwest. A conversation will be going on, and next thing you know, white folks are using the word nigger, you know, and then they look at me, oh, I don't think of you like that. You ain't. See, I know it from experience. Racism is just pure ignorance. It's been, it's passed on. It's not natural. We don't have to be racist at all. I'll keep going for a while here. I watched a video recently too. I forget who it was, but I'm glad that people just keep doing the BC. Sun Ra upon Strange Celestial Road. I pulled this because Dave Newhouse of the Muffins online had shared an article that he had read about the 10 vinyl Sun Ra albums that everyone should own. Excuse me. I went to look at the article to see what I thought. And I pulled this because it was on the list and I hadn't played this in a while. And I was like, oh shit, I've really overlooked this album. This is a Sun Ra album that sounds, it's in the region of Miles Davis's Electric. Side 2 of this is a side-long track that I must admit that I don't remember listening to. Side 2 is one track called I'll Wait For You. And it's funky. It goes it has that funky bass thing going on and drums thing that Miles Davis really solidified after Bitches Brew and Live Evil and all that stuff. I'll include it in the Silent Way too. It's not funky, but it's part of that transition. And Sun Ra is doing the space thing here mixed with the funk. This is real. This was eye-openingly good, you know, in my collection for a few years, and I hadn't even listened to it. Yeah. Now let me pull a couple more trades. Anthem. I picked this up because I'd never heard it. This goes back to 1971. It's on the Buddha label, which I love. The Buddha label. They brought us a lot of bubblegum and pop music, but they also experimented with psychedelia. This is a crap cover, in my opinion. I don't know what the deal is with this upside down angel man. And in these fish scale underwear. I mean, really look at it. It's just really, in my opinion, this is just a really failed cover. It's a failed attempt. And I think it really took away from the chances of this album. This album is actually very good. It's almost progressive. It's got horns. And so, in context of the time, bands like Chicago, Blood, Sweat and Tears, Pacific Gas and Electric, Chase, bands, Pig Iron, bands that were working with horns in their sections. This is very tuneful, and then there's several songs on here where the arrangements, they go for a long time, and they show their classical chops. I think this is an undiscovered good album because of a crap cover. Anthem, 1971. I just traded for this. Got this in trade at Almost Music. I'd never bought it. I don't know why. This Heat, Deceit. This is brilliant. Charles Hayward is my friend. I've got the first one. I had Health and Efficiency, but I never bought this, and I don't know why. This is the reissue with the booklet. Really well done. Real nice pressing. But the thing about this is right from the top, this album is inspired, engaged, and it spits sparks. It's just brilliant. There was a lot of creativity captured by this small group of people. This is amazing. This Heat, Deceit. Let me grab one more. There's one more I was wanting to talk about in particular because it's an old psychedelia. I got some old psychedelia in the trade, and there's one. This is one I wanted to talk about. The American Revolution on Flick Disc. Now this looks cheesy, okay, and it definitely smacks of the way it is presented. It smacks of the record industry trying to cash in on the psychedelic times. Okay, this is not psychedelic, but I really like this record, and I had never heard it until I just got it. And this goes back to the 60s. I remember seeing this record, and when I had chances to buy it, because of the American Revolution title and the red, white, and blue, it put me off. This is pop music. It's very tuneful. There are some really good songs on here. I mean, where they do twists with the melody that are kind of unusual, which I like. That's why I've always liked progressive rock, okay? Rainbow in the Rain is one. I really didn't take a moment to look for names behind this. Usually when the music is good, there's people involved here. I see a name here that may be related to Omaha. Eddie Haddad? I have to look that up. There was an orchestra in Omaha called the Eddie Haddad Orchestra. My dad, I think, was in it for a while. I just noticed that on the back here. I'm going to have to look into this more. What I wanted to say, though, is that this is really good. It's not psychedelic. It's pop. Maybe like the Left Bank. And the reason why I like this stuff, I was just trying to think, how do I explain to people why a black guy like me was even at all interested in these white kids. That it has no, like, for example, this album has no indication that these people ever listen to any black music. It's very white. So what does that have to do with me? Well, it has a lot to do with me because I've always known since a child that I'm partially white. My great grandfather on my dad's side is a white Irishman, okay? I was raised in a mixed neighborhood, predominantly white and Irish, and so I got used to racism mixed with good people early on, so I can identify with at this time what I hear in this music is optimism, possibilities. These kids are playing music and singing like the world belongs to them and the future is bright and anything could happen, mainly good things can happen. Man, do I relate to that, and boy did I want that for me. And boy do I still want that for me and all people of color. Last thing I'll say, because it's time to go, is I don't approve of politics, and I don't approve of the Machiavellian mindset that politicians have, which is sometimes we have to do bad things for good reasons, and they get away with murder with that bullshit, saying that we're doing something good. You just wait, and you'll see. Well, I've just been watching, and I'm not waiting. I've been watching, and nothing good has happened except for the people who benefit. So fuck politics. Fuck politics. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck this really fucked up two-party political system and this global bullshit that has really increased the planet's misery quotient way unnecessarily. Don't defend that shit to me. We can, as human beings, as a species, we're capable of so much more. But we're so fucking selfish, aren't we? Aren't we? Okay, that's my rant for the day. I like to try to end things with a smile and as positive as possible. So what I'll say is, I'm happy to be alive today in spite of the ongoing challenges and the really crazy landscape of daily life. I'm happy to be alive, and I encourage you all to have a good day and to share something good with people around you. Help heal this planet. Let's do something.